Hey guys, I'm Jason Houtsma, guitar instructor for worshipartistry.com. This week I was teaching the song Rushing Waters by Dustin Smith, and they really utilize power chords as well as a combination of octaves to create a riff, right? So for our bridge, we're sitting there playing this idea. Nice fat sound, but I started thinking, how can we take this to another level and utilize octaves and power chords together? First is two guitars, and then we're going to talk about how we can take those two ideas and combine them into one guitar and really get a much more unique sound than your just average power chord. So first thing we need to do is look at intervals and why they work, right? So for example, if we take a major chord, we're going to use a B major because our octave was there, right? So my B note is on that 7th fret. Now a power chord is made up of the first note, the 5th note of the scale, and then back to the first again. So you get that, those two are octaves, and then you have that 5th as the interval there. Now power chords are neither major nor minor because they leave out the 3rd note of the scale, which is what makes it major or minor. So if I were to play a major scale or a major chord, I'd be taking the 3rd there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what defines a major chord. If I wanted to make that chord minor, I would simply lower this note 1 fret. And that's my minor shape. Okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to emphasize the 3rd of the chord along with the power chord. So you have one guitar is going to be playing A, C sharp, B. Now, we are in the key of E, and so if you were to extend those chords beyond power chords, you'd be playing an A major, a C sharp minor, and a B major. Okay, so that's what we're going to use our octave to emphasize. So for our A, we're going to look at that first interval. So while the A chord is doing that, we look for our root note, which is the A, and then we just go 1 fret down and 1 string over, and then create an octave. Right, so that's my A octave. That's the 3rd octave of my A. Like so. Same thing with my B. My octave's going to be here. And then for my C sharp, we're not doing major, we're doing minor. So my octave is here. So while one guitar is going to play the chords, the other one is going to play the octave, focusing on the 3rd. Put those two together, which I'm going to do in a second, and you'll really hear how those work. Now, we could also emphasize the 5th if we wanted to. So once again, looking at our power chords, we have our A. All right, my 5th is that 7th fret of the A. For my C sharp, my 5th is on the 11th fret. And then back to my B, my 5th is on my 9th, right? So I'd be going... So you can emphasize that 5th. The other thing you can do is switch. You don't have to stay locked into one emphasis all the time. It's kind of an interesting thing, but you could switch it around. You could start with the 3rd of your A, go up to the 5th of your C sharp, and then stay on the 5th, or any combination of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how taking a power chord and taking those octaves, how those things work together. And then once that's done, we're going to talk about how to make some new chords just as a single guitarist. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the idea of the power chord, but instead of doing the octave on the root note, we're going to throw the octave on one of the other positions. So for example, for a major chord, instead of playing our octave, look at that power chord, we'll start with the A. Okay. What we're going to do instead is we're going to throw an octave on the third. So that puts your pinky on the G here. You have to mute the D, but it helps you emphasize the third. Move that up 2 frets and you've got a B, because there's your B note there. Got to do a little bit of a stretch coming up to the C sharp minor, but you'll still do the same idea. Middle finger will be on that 9th fret, pointer finger's on the minor note, and then your ring finger will go on the G, still muting that D. Just add some different emphasis. So let's hear how that sounds in the context of that bridge. Now that probably sounds familiar, that gets used quite a bit. But what if we go an extra step and we decide to emphasize the 5th instead? So this is a little more of a stretch, but we'll start on that A. So you get that pointer finger on the root, you're stretching with your middle finger to catch the 5th there on the 7th fret of the D, and then you make your octave by the 9th fret of the G, and you should pretty much naturally mute everything else. Now this one's cool because you actually don't have to change it to go to major or a minor because it's not using the third, right? So you're going to go. Just a way to add a little bit of different flavor to some of those kind of more typical parts that we like to play. I've related some lessons down below in the blog section of songs that really utilize power chords, and you can kind of take these ideas and throw them in there and see how they sound. Enjoy.